So, I just wanted to make a video about my spiritual gifts, my spiritual journey of growing my gifts and doing spiritual readings for a living. So, we're going to touch on first, we'll just touch on my spiritual gifts first. So, when I was very young, I remember maybe I was like 4, 5, 6, like really young. I used to sleep with my mom, and she she used to sleep on one side of the bed, and I would sleep on the other side of the bed. I used to be up under her like all the time, you know, being a baby. But I also used to have this habit of kind of putting my head in the crack of the bed, so the bed was against the wall, and I would, my head was small because I was young. I used to put my head in the crack of the bed, like the little space they had. I would like put my head there, and then I would cover my face and then go to bed. So it's like basically I would sleep in a very weird way, like literally with my face in the crack of the wall. And that's because it made me feel more safe, because if I didn't have nothing over my head or my face, I wasn't gonna be able to sleep. Because how I felt then, what I would say is because it feel weird, or it didn't feel right. Now looking back, it's like I totally understand what I was feeling. My gifts were open, they were just fully open, so I would feel a lot, like energy wise. It's the kind of like when you feel somebody standing next to you, I would feel everything. And I just had this fear of, for whatever reason, I had a fear of me being able to hear who's around when I'm sleeping, or fearing that something was gonna like touch me on my face or my body when I was sleeping. And I remember one time, I had this fear that after my grandpa died, that he was going to like tickle my feet, because we used to live with my grandma and my grandpa too. So I used to like be in the bed like when I was younger, and he would like tickle my feet. And when he passed away, I had this fear. I was like, oh my God, if I leave my feet out the cover, my grandpa's gonna tickle my feet. And it's like, as a child, I could have just been being foolish, but I think I felt and knew that there was a such thing as the spiritual world and ghosts, or at the time I would call them ghosts, now I call them spirits. But yeah, so yeah, my mom would just let me do it because she knew it made me feel comfortable. But I also remember at that same age having dreams that were so vivid. Like I always would have a dream that I was like falling off a building, and I would feel the air. So I feel like I've been vividly dreaming for a very long time. Yeah, and to be honest, it took me a long time to break myself out of like sleeping with something over my head. To me, it's kind of like wrapping your hair. It's like we wrap our hair to protect ourselves from negative energy, whatever. So that's what I felt. I feel then that was my way of protecting my energy. Because when you're a child, you don't really understand the depth of what you're experiencing or seeing. No matter how spiritual it is, you don't know. So yeah, I used to be very afraid of scary movies, like stuff like that, because I would always think about it after. So trust me, I never thought that I would be doing this type of work, because I've always feared, you know the way they make it seem on horror movies and things like that. Is just, it kind of skewed my view of paranormal things. And it's like, I don't really like a lot of movies and even just shows and things like that that just promote fear when it comes to spiritual world, or just things like that, because that's one of the main things that blocks us from exercising our full potential when it comes to our spiritual gifts. If you have a fear of your gift, it's not going to develop, you know. So let's see. Another thing when I was younger was I just was very sensitive. Like, very sensitive. Like, it was to the point to where if a person would just say one word and say it in a certain tone or way, even being young, I would feel it to my core. Like, I would feel it in my body. Don't talk about if somebody was trying to play me, or like if somebody was being mean to me, or like things like that. Like, I really would feel it in my body. Like, and that still happens. Sometimes I was in a relationship before that was very like um not full of good energy. Okay, so it's like having to experience hearing some things that actually hurt my soul or hurt my heart. And I remember every time it would happen that I would hear something from that partner, that person I was with, that hurt my feelings, my arm, like right here, it would start tingling. I'm serious. Like I used to know that it was gonna happen, and it used to happen too when I would like try to stop myself from crying, but knowing I'm feeling emotion, like I would feel that tingling. That's why I always say in my readings, for clairsentient people, always pay attention to your gut feelings, but also pay attention to your body. You know, little, it could be the smallest thing, but it's still a sign. It's still speaking to you. So yes, I was very sensitive. I used to pick up so much, even like around adults and things. I've always understood things very well and just saw beyond like physical. I will understand people's emotions and just things that you wouldn't think a child would. All right. So another thing was, even though I was scary as hell, I always was interested in the paranormal. Like, watching the most haunted places or just things like that where it speaks of paranormal activity, because it, to me, it was affirming what I already felt was real, like that there's a spiritual world. So let's see. Once I got to when I was graduating high school, okay, so let's say that summer after I graduated high school, you transitioning, you about to explore new things, about to go to college, things like this. So I don't even think like the year that I graduated, I was, aware of God. I grew up in like a family where we definitely speak about God and we live, you know, I feel in tune with our spiritualities, but I wasn't at that level yet. I was still young. I wasn't at like the elders level yet, just didn't really understand my gifts yet. But that summer, I definitely had a spiritual awakening, major. I think I cut my hair my last year of high school. That was definitely a liberating thing, and I definitely feel that spiritual awakening that I went through was more so like the door opener to the spiritual world. So like it was a door opener to me that spirituality is a real thing. Like, no, we're not here alone. And just too that there's a need to grow a personal relationship with God. All right, so I started meditating, meditating a lot and just trying to find as much as I could about chakras, reading up on all of that. I used to go to the library for hours, and this should have definitely pointed something to me because I used to go to the library. My mom would drop me off in the morning, and I would leave like evening 5-6 o'clock. I would have snacks, food, everything I need to be straight while I'm up in there reading. And I only would go to two sections. Okay, the first section was spiritual books, the paranormal, the afterlife, and the second section was musicians. Okay, and that's literally my life now. Like, I love to sing, I love music, and my spirituality, my spiritual gifts. So it makes sense now. You see how we're drawn to the things that play a part in our purpose. So yes, used to be in the library for hours, just reading all kinds of spiritual books. I remember the first time I found a book about heaven and just the afterlife. Also living multiple lives, like just so much research about that I was finding. I was so fascinated. It's like once I found that, it's like I found what I was looking for. Like I was going to the library a lot now, like every other day. So I feel like my soul was searching for something, because I was looking through every book. I wasn't gonna miss a book on that spiritual section. In the religious section, I wasn't gonna miss a book. I was looking at everything. I need to see a little bit of everything because it's something I'm looking for. Now, see, when I found that section about afterlife, and loved ones who passed on, who sent messages. Once I found that section, that was it. Now it's time to sit down. I'm going to sit down with my books. I'm checking all these out, and I was checking out a lot of books. like probably the maximum capacity. Yeah. So I was researching all these things and just getting excited, and that's how I feel now. Like when you feel excited about something and you can't point out why, it's just something that you're very fascinated by. Please follow that feeling. Please look for it, search for it, create it, whatever you have to do, because there's a purpose in it. Okay. So yeah, I definitely still love to read spiritual books, but I came across a lot of beneficial information, and it's so funny that I was drawn to past lives and just loved ones who passed on too, because I now do mediumship. And that's another thing. When I was in college, I was obsessed with that show, Long Island Medium. And that's like the lady who does mediumship. And at the time, I didn't know I had mediumship skills. I didn't even know like I would be doing this work. I didn't know none of that. But I would watch, like binge watch it, episode after episode. I didn't want to miss the episode. Okay, and I was just so intrigued by the fact that this lady was speaking to spirits in the spiritual world, and even just the things that used to be said, it just used to give me chills. I remember I would just get chills watching it. So I'm actually doing mediumship now, so that made sense too. See, just piece it all together. So yeah, after that, I feel that's when the real spiritual awakening started. Okay, it's like I gathered information, I learned new things, and then I feel that awakening, that next awakening I went through was going through just some painful situations, that really made me learn myself again and get down to the root of who I was, like my divinity. Me calling myself a goddess, like I call all of my women followers goddesses, and I mean it from my heart because I know that we have to be able to see ourselves as the divinity that we are and honor ourselves as that in order for us to grow more self-love and just see ourselves in our highest light, like to be able to see ourselves in the purest light. We have to be able to speak highly of ourselves and to speak, in ways that pours into us and doesn't take away from the uniqueness that we are, So going through pain and painful situations, it really made me question my worth. It made me, not really do things that honored my worth. I had to go through some painful situations to recognize my true worth and just to be able to see myself in a higher light and to just start living life from my soul and my heart, living life righteously, like doing the things that I know honors me, and the things that I know is in alignment with me. So I didn't think that I was going to be doing readings at all, to be honest. Like, I was drawn to tarot cards. Like, it honestly was an idea that came to me. And I would say this was in like 2012 or 13. It just came to me. I'm like, I want to learn more. I've always been very like intrigued by spiritual tools, whatever it is, knowledge. If it's spiritual, I want to see what it's about. So it's like knowing that tarot cards existed. I was interested in them. I would just kind of look at decks and just be like, okay, that's not that much. I might buy it. Like, I would bookmark the shit. And one day I was like, I'm just about to buy me a deck. I got the cheapest one I could find, and it happened to be a used Egyptian deck, tarot deck. And mind you, it was used. So it used to be someone's deck. And it's like I really was determined to learn the cards and to just really, get to know the cards and be able to read just for myself. I wasn't even thinking about other people, to be honest. I literally just wanted to test it out, see what would happen. And I just decided to do just that. And I started pulling a card every day. Pulling a card every day in the morning just to learn the cards and to understand them deeper. And then I believe I told my best friend that I had like tarot cards, and I don't think I was even a little bit confident in myself at the time. But her being my best friend, she was like, "Oh, read mine." I'm like, okay. So I would read hers, and at the time I still barely even knew the meanings. I just knew the basic meanings. I remember having to look up things so much, like constantly, because I wasn't aware. But every time I would give her a reading, And I always did intuitive shuffle. I never did any other kind of shuffle. I've always just shuffled and let the cards fall what they do and just read off them like that. So they will always be so accurate, her readings. And I would be like, for real? She'll be like, girl, that was so accurate. Like, that was everything I need to hear. And I just would be like, I used to be surprised too. Because I didn't know I was going to be able to do it. I tried. And I just did my best. And, like, hoping that I'm pulling the right cards, or just not even really knowing how the process works. Like, your higher self and, your angels, your guides, how all that ties in. So, yes, I really started doing readings for my best friend a lot. Like, whenever she was going through something, I'd do a reading for, so that gave me good practice. I had good practice with that. And I would say I put them cards down for like a year. Like, they was like getting dusty and everything. Like, I wasn't using them. It wasn't time. But then I remember, I think I started looking at some oracle decks. I bought an oracle deck, and that definitely broke the mold for everything. And I still have it, Psychic Tarot of the Heart. Yeah, that was my oracle deck, and that helped a lot too. Oracle cards to me are very special, and I connect to them in a different way than what I connect to tarot. I don't really do tarot unless I really, really, really need some type of specific detail. I love oracle because it helps me to exercise my channeling abilities and just tap more, into spirit. Only using the cards as a tool. Even with tarot, it's the same way. But for me, what works best is to have something to build off of, and I don't need the extra details. I just want to build off of what was coming to me as I'm looking at this card, of feeling, even just feeling this card, because I think for me it's more so of a feeling. I have a lot of different oracle decks. Some have words, some have images, some barely have anything on there. Just like one word, but it definitely, when I see it, it says a lot to me. So everybody have their different methods of reading their cards. So one thing I want to say for readers is, like, you don't have to read your cards the way everybody else read cards. You can read your cards in whatever way it comes to you. That's the only way you're going to be able to tap into your spiritual gifts to your fullest ability, by trusting what you feel, following what you feel, okay? And following the urges that you feel. Allowing your spirit to guide you, allowing your angels to guide you, and not feeling the need to fit in with anyone, or for your method to be accepted by anyone else. Because trust me, anyone outside of your body, no matter how spiritual this person may be, even if they do spiritual work, they won't resonate with how you receive your information, okay? Because that's a whole different person, whole different journey, different gifts. It's different, okay? So you have to trust yourself. You have to learn to build that sense of security with yourself and your gifts, so that if anything, you listen to yourself first. Because for a while, I feel like when it came to my spiritual gifts, I feel like I wanted what I felt to, like, I needed I needed reassurance from someone else, like, okay, you was right, you was spot on. Or I felt like I needed direction. For a long time, I felt like I needed to do tarot because people were more familiar with tarot. They wasn't familiar with oracle. And then eventually I was like, this is for me. If I know the way that I operate best, I'm going to have to alter things and make it more about me and my gifts, instead of what the crowd does or what the usual spiritual people do, or whatever. So, I definitely started just buying more oracle decks because that was my thing. So I feel that you may run across some people who you could resonate with spiritually, like when it comes to your gifts. I feel like upon you recognizing that you have gifts and you're ready to grow them, you may meet someone that's very helpful, or you may come across like Soul Tribe, who are trying to do the same thing on the same journey, but you might not stick with those people. Okay, that might just be the door opener, for the next step. Because I didn't really know that I was going to be doing this full time. Like, I was part of a spiritual group for a little while, a couple months, and that's when I was like, I wanted to test my waters and see what it would be like to have a spiritual business and expand off of it, and try to build my gifts and just get to know my gifts on a deeper level. Okay, and I feel like that served its purpose at the time that it was supposed to. And once I received what I needed to receive from it, it was on to the next level. So then I was working at a restaurant and I started I'm sorry, my mind just went blank. I was working at a restaurant, and see, stuff like this happens to me, like, when I'm picking up stuff. So, like, with me just pausing like that, I completely lost my train of thought, but I see why that happened, because I'm looking, like, around, and I see, like, my angels, it could be my angels, or it could be a spirit, but, I definitely have to go back to what I was thinking. That just threw me off. So, all right, yeah. So I was working at a restaurant, and I saw that there was an opening for a spiritual reader in the French Quarters. And I really just wanted to see where I could read in person. Like, because for some reason I felt like I do better in person. I wanted to be more local and in my community. And with me living in New Orleans, it's like, the spiritual history here is amazing, and when I was in the spiritual group that I was in, everybody was like speak about like Marie Laveau, and I feel like once I started doing more research on New Orleans and just spirituality, that drew me in even more, because now it hits home, okay, and it makes sense too, because there will be souls who will carry on the legacy, or carry on spiritual things, spiritual methods, spiritual practices that has truly helped us, evolve over the years. It just keeps on going. Okay, so it's like I was like, okay, I definitely could do this. Like people do this. Like I could do this as a job. Like this could be something, and not knowing that what I was feeling was passion. I was feeling something that I was passionate about, and I was also being led by my intuition. All right, so I definitely signed up for the job or whatever. And it was in the French Quarters. So y'all know the French Quarters are old as hell. They have a lot of spirit activity in the French Quarters. To be honest, I probably won't ever work in the French Quarters again, because that's how intense and heavy it was. Working at that place in the quarters, it was a lot, y'all. Like I was doing, I want to say like 12 to 13 readings a day. And they were timed. All of them was timed, and it had to be on that timing. You record it on this little recorder thing while you do the readings. And it's like a personal little office. They step inside your office. And mind you, this is not my clients. I was doing readings for people all over the world who came to visit New Orleans, like that's in the quarters. So sometimes people used to be drunk. Sometimes it just will be skeptics that come in there, and I will feel like the wall, but I can't tell them, hey, I'm not going to do your reading, or I don't feel right. I couldn't say that because it wasn't my shit. Like, I worked for somebody else. Now, that's one of the parts of that job that I didn't really like, because I felt like I couldn't really protect my energy, and filter the energy that I was coming across with, and I definitely had some times where I experienced some crazy attitudes and just like ugly energy, and it wasn't really much that I could do besides just be like, fuck it, you win some, you lose some, like, and knowing I did my best, knowing I'm being pure and from the heart with my guidance. Some people just, I might not be the reader for you, and it's just, hey, our chemistry might not be there, but there might be somebody for you. But I see it like that, but they not gonna see it like that. They gonna see it like, oh, I didn't like my reading, or that wasn't. I will always get people that be like, she wasn't specific enough for me. I wanted to know dates, times, or like how this person looked, or I wanted to know this specifically, but they would never ask me that specifically before the reading. They wouldn't say anything. They expect you to be a mind reader, literally, and you want me to know what you thinking today and what you want to hear. No, that's not how readings work. I'm reading your energy. I'm reading to you what is being communicated to me that you need to hear. Okay, and it might not be what you think that you need to hear. It might be something different. It might be something that's more relevant right now that your angels is trying to communicate to you. So I had some weird experience. I did, but I was really charging into the game because I felt like I was there for a reason. I felt like I was drawn there for a reason. I don't really have much else to say about that, but I feel I worked there for like 2 months or 3 months, maybe at the most. And eventually, I just started feeling weird. Like, I started really just not feeling right where I was. Like, really, energy-wise, something just felt different. And I just was like, I don't know if this is for me anymore. Like, I was feeling drained. Every time I would go to work, I would feel sick. Like I said, the energy in the quarters is a lot. It started feeling too overwhelming. And when something starts feeling very overwhelming like that, sometimes it's redirection. Sometimes it's pushing you into another space, in another place that's more beneficial for you. And I had to listen to my body, because I felt like my body was like, like, don't do it, don't go. So I trusted myself one morning. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not going there anymore. And I just, like, I'm going to have to do what's best for me. I felt like it served its purpose because I learned to do palm readings there. And I also just got more experience working with people who I don't know. So it helped me. And I feel like I received what I needed from it, just like the other situation. So I definitely told them I wasn't coming back. And I separated myself from that. So after that, I'm still working at the restaurant. And I'm just like, man, like... this ain't gonna work. I like to cook. I like to do prep too, but this not my passion. Like, I know what I felt when I was doing spiritual work. I know it's something totally different. It comes from a totally different place. Like, yeah, this is good to provide for myself and make money, but something is missing. And when you feel like something is missing, usually it's something that you need to nourish your soul and step into your purpose. And you're gonna keep searching for it. Your soul gonna keep looking for it until you finally give in and trust yourself and go for it. And then you start to feel fulfilled. Then you start to feel aligned. Okay, so I was still working at the restaurant for months and months. And again, I started feeling that feeling again. Like, getting drained, getting tired. I worked at that restaurant for a long time, like years. So just getting tired of the environment. Just feeling like every time I go up in there, it just fucks with my spirit. It's just like, no matter how much meditating and praying I was doing, I just felt so uncomfortable where I was, and just like, I just couldn't do it no more. Like, and I remember when I was in like the spiritual group, they was just telling me, just quit your job, just do it, go ahead. Like, it shouldn't be hard. Like, just do it, because a lot of them did readings, on their own. They didn't have a job. That was their job. And I just was like, not yet. Like, I need to, pay my bills. I need to do this. I had every excuse in the world. Yes, that was me. I had every excuse in the world that I could not quit my job and do what I love. And it's like holding myself back. I could have been like, I could have been in my prime, but I definitely held myself back for so long because I was scared. I was letting my fear of not knowing if I'm gonna make enough, or just like not knowing how I was gonna be able to do it, stop me and leave me in an environment that wasn't even healthy for my spirit and mind. So one day I was like, you know what? I'm about to quit for real. Like, I'm about to trust what my angels have told me, because I used to see a lot of angel numbers. Angel numbers have definitely been a big part of my journey. See, look, I'm a Gemini, okay? It's really hard for me to include every detail of the story. Like, I can't just give a straight out story like that. So I'm not gonna go all the way back, but I definitely been seeing angel numbers, I would say, since high school. I didn't know what I was seeing at first, but I still see a lot of angel numbers. And I was seeing angel numbers around that time that I quit, or was about to quit, that it was time to leave an environment that no longer served. It's time to do more of what I loved and was passionate about. That I was going to be able to provide for my family. Everything was going to be okay. It's like every time I would be worried about, like, how the hell I'm going to pay my bills and all this, it's like my angels would reassure me that, like, you're going to be straight. And they always would tell me about me being able to bring stability into my family. I'm like, how? I'm only making, like, a couple dollars an hour. How am I going to be the one to bring stability? Like, I was confused, not knowing it was the spiritual readings that I'm doing now, that's what they were speaking of. So I trusted myself, and I started, just rerunning the messages in my head. I'm like, hold up. God would not tell me, all these things and repeat these messages and continuously encouraged me to do what I love and was passionate about for no reason. Okay, so obviously there's some type of plan. Obviously this is part of my purpose. So I chose to listen to myself, and I opened up my Etsy account. And I tried to start promoting like on my Instagram, and just I didn't even have a Twitter at the time. I was just trying to promote as much as I could on my Instagram. I had a spiritual page on Instagram, and I would just post and like create little quotes and things like that. And I remember that like my quotes when I first started doing them, and I had that spiritual page. I remember just always having so much guidance flowing to me, and it felt good sharing like the messages that I was sharing. So, all right, I got some followers, not that much, but people started like a lot of local people, they would pay for a reading or want to get a reading, but business wasn't bumping. Like I didn't have no real clients or like people who come. I probably would get like 2 readings a week, with advertising myself and just, but yeah, I definitely took a leap of faith, and in that first month I was really scared because I didn't have a client list, I didn't have anything that was for sure, I didn't have nothing that was literally telling me, yes, you're gonna have a check for this much. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen, how I was gonna make money. I just knew I got my cards, I quit, I just got me. So it was like, what we gonna do? So I advertised my shit. And I'm just like, it's gonna come. And it got scary, it got hard, because that first month I definitely didn't make enough for my rent. I had to call my mama. Oh my God, that made me feel so ashamed. Like just moving in my new apartment, I had to call my mama. And she had to help me with my rent. And she's like, what is wrong with you? It's like, what you think I'm just gonna let you get put out? Like, she didn't understand why I was so down about the fact that I had to borrow money. But she told me something very important. She said, Sade, like, you said you was taking a leap of faith. And she said, you don't have no faith right now. She's like, where's the faith? That's the point of taking a leap of faith. And I'm like, it really registered with me. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, because I'm being a little bitch right now. I'm really scared as shit. Like, my angels didn't tell me I was going to be straight. So I felt like I needed that month. I needed that struggle. I needed that lesson, to show me that this is not about, you hustling to death, or like you doing anything ordinary. This is something that's highly spiritual, highly important, definitely important. And also, remember what you're doing it for. You're not just doing it to pay your bill. You're not just doing it to focus on the material world. You did this to fulfill something you're passionate about, and to do something that will be for the betterment of other people, to help, to heal. This is what you did it for. So I feel like I needed to stop being fearful, and I needed to increase my faith. I also needed to remember why I was doing it. Okay? I feel like once I got back down to why, it helped me to see that I was focusing on the wrong things. Okay, you can't go into taking this leap of faith just being so worried about, how I'm gonna have enough, because then you're not really gonna be able to focus on your work, and your mind, your spirit, your energy is gonna be so misplaced because it's so focused on the material world and lack. Okay, so then you get out of touch with your spirituality, you get out of touch with your angels. It's so much. It's a balance to everything. You gotta keep balance. So I definitely balanced out my mind. And what happened was that second month, I started thinking, it's like, I feel like my angels was like, okay, I think she learned a lesson. Now let's show her how this works. So that second month, I got like super inspired. I started thinking of like real creative shit, like just different shit. I had the idea to open up my Etsy. Like shit was flowing to me quick, like a lot. And I want to say that second month, I have the screenshots, and I'm gonna post them like connected to this some type of way. I have the screenshots. I want to show y'all the screenshots of like the numbers and how they went from nothing to literally started going up more and more. Okay, so I opened up my Etsy, and from there, y'all, as crazy as it seems, I have never lacked. Ever since that first month, when I didn't have faith and I was scared, the more that I focused on having faith, the more that I focused on staying in a positive mindset, the more I focused on my work and getting creative, staying consistent, and just staying in contact with my angels, letting them know what I needed. The more I did that, the more my business just was increasing, and just I was thinking of new services and just different ways to evolve from where I already was. My bills was taken care of. Even sometimes it would be like a miracle I would get the money. Sometimes it always wasn't with my reading. Sometimes it just was like I would just have enough, or I would get money and it would add to what I had, and it just shit was taken care of. Like, so I feel like once I started seeing the results of me taking care of myself spiritually and being in the right mind state, from there I wasn't no fear for what. Like, I literally feel and know that I'm doing God's work, and God made a promise to me to take care of me as I do something that serves a higher purpose for humanity. And it's like, I didn't understand that before. I just felt like, okay, I'm being called to do something, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna do it a little bit. But me really stepping into my purpose was realizing that this is not something I'm just supposed to do for a little bit. It's not something I'm supposed to be inconsistent with. It's not something that I should fear stepping into. This is something important. This is my purpose. This is something God has literally told me, to do. This is for you. I've seen all the signs I needed to see. So it's like adjusting to that right mindset. It really helped me get into business mode. Like, I didn't go to school to, I didn't study no type of business, nothing. I literally learned, parts of business from the things I experienced, like working in the quarters and being with that spiritual group. I learned some things, and I took a leap of faith with my own business, like, as if I know what I'm doing, like, and it just so happened to continue flourishing before my eyes. And it's like you kind of catch up as it goes, and I ain't gonna lie, now business is bigger than it's ever been. And it's like I'm experiencing the most abundance and just blessings, just amazingness on my spiritual journey that I have nothing to complain about. I'm living, I'm healthy. I'm not perfect. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. But it's like God is creating so much space and new pathways for me, and just God has blessed me so much and has, turned so many situations around in my life. I don't have no reason to complain. I go through shit, yes I do. But my blessings are greater than any burden that I've ever felt. Ever since I've learned how to connect with my angels and talk to them and communicate with them about what I'm feeling and what I need, support that I need, my angels have never let me down. And I'm gonna have to do a whole another story time for angels and how I started seeing angels. But I just wanted to kind of touch on my spiritual journey and stepping into reading full time for y'all. I just promised y'all this video, so I was gonna do it, but look, as y'all see, I'm a Gemini. This video long as shit. Like, it's long already, so I can't include everything in one video. So I separated. But y'all, look, I feel if you feel passionate about something, if you feel something in your soul and your spirit, if something gives you chills and gives you a feeling that you cannot explain, but a feeling that you want to follow and feel more of, please pursue it. Please do what you can to create space to put more energy and time into whatever that is, because it's going to lead you to something great. It's going to show you that miracles are real, blessings are real, that God is real, that you are unique, you're talented, you're gifted. You have a purpose. But it's all about navigating from your spirit, your soul. It's all about navigating from that place, not just your mind. It's also about navigating from your heart too, what you feel pulled and drawn to. And it's a process of learning and unlearning. Like I always go on my rants about the love and light shit. Because y'all always talking shit about love and light. Love and light is definitely something that I look at seriously, because I know that I'm a light worker. This is for sure. This has been proved to me I've been through the most painful shit. But once I got through that painful shit, I kind of learned how to navigate through the pain with my own light. My own light has guided me through the darkest times. And it's just like I even started studying how much power, energy and light holds. When you send light as an energy to someone else, it could uplift the energy. That person could feel, your comfort, your healing. It's more so about frequencies. It's not about ignoring the bad or the shadow. It's about frequency. It's about energy. Okay, so yeah, I could do a video on light work, being a light worker, and how I learned about that. But I just mostly wanted to let y'all know, like, especially for my readers who are in fear at this time, that fear is not gonna hold you back from doing what you've been called to do. Period. It is not. You have to keep fighting and pushing through that fear. Do it anyway. Do it scared. But trust me, God is gonna reveal to you like that you are taken care of. You don't have to worry. You don't have to fear. All you have to do is do what you've been called to do. And everything else gonna align. Everything else gonna fall into place. So don't be too focused on what if or how. Just trust. Follow. Trust and follow. Have faith. And be open. Be aware. So you could see the signs and the messages and the synchronicities and everything. And you just have to continue having faith and trust. Don't think just having a little faith, taking a leap of faith, and just expect things to just be all peachy keen. Like, shit gonna happen within that journey. Once you take that leap of faith, that's going to test your faith. Okay? You taking a leap of faith was not the test of faith. You taking a leap of faith and continuing to have faith is the test. So, yes, I'm going to have to get off because this is about to be a whole hour. I didn't even know I was going to be uploading this to YouTube, but here we are. And this is going to be the start of something. So, I really hope this helped y'all. And